Welcome to the bold analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, someone once asked, is it going to end? How is it going to end? I have just followed what happened at the Thursday Mandamano that Raila Odinga team were holding, and they actually held the road meeting around where was that? Is it Imara Daima? Then penetrated, sneaked to Mukuru kwa Njenga, and they wanted to connect and get to Outer Ring. I want you to look at these photos in your screen. These are photos of how the police decided to face head-on Raila Odinga's convoy and Kenyans, making sure that they block his way to get into the Outer Ring. And I'm just wondering, what is the end game? We're waiting for the reports. We've seen an NTV journalist has emerged really hurt. The Azimio leadership is to issue a statement, and it has been, if you look at those photos, it tells you that what exactly is happening behind the scene. Those photos are very devastating. Look at the state of the vehicles, and there is something clear from this. Immediately Raila addressed the audience in Imara Daima. It was ecstatic. The audience was very happy, and the crowd was interacting with the message. I wanted to listen to a bit of what the first very statements that he made in that rally.
Tumesema Kenya imepevuka kwa ukombozi ya Azimio. Wakenya wanalia, umebeba mzigo mzito, unasema ipunguzwe, gharama ya chakula irudi chini, unga irudi chini, maziwa irudi chini, mafuta, petroli, dizeli, sukari, karo, kodi irudi chini. Unaunga mkono? Hello. Sisi kama wanaazimio si waende wazimu, si wajinga, lakini Wakenya wazalendo. Tunataka Kenya ikombolewe. Azimio ilitoa ahadi. Ahadi ni nini? Hata Kenya kwisha ilitoa ahadi, lakini ahadi yao Kenya ibadilike. Tunataka Wakenya wasiheshimiwe, waishi maisha ya heshima. Hata mtu mdogo aishi na heshima, lakini wahalifu, wauaji, wezi waende wapi? Waende wapi? Waende wapi? Sasa tumesema tunataka mabadiliko ya kikatiba. Tunataka vile saba ifunguliwe. Mnakubaliana na sisi?
So after addressing that, it was peaceful. In fact, the event, that convoy was very peaceful. But the moment the police came in and started repulsing it, it actually hell broke loose. This was because there was a plan that Raila was going to storm CBD. If this rally is at 2, surely, that was around 3. Do you want to tell me that he was taking the crowd to CBD? From where? They could not be stopped on the road. But it was so much into it. Something happened, a very interesting scene, and I wanted to look at it. This is a place, and I wanted to look at this video here. This is a video where the residents of that place, the ones that were staying in kwa hizo nyumba za ghorofa, the moment police tear gassed the convoy and with the Kenyans, with the protesters in the middle, the tear gas, the whole area was saturated by tear gas. And so a woman, some three women who were there, walitoa ndoo zao za maji wakimwaga chini so that it can help the protesters. You see the kind of that, it's a very humanity gesture. I think those are the people that people should actually go and look for. If I find time personally, I'll try to get that lady. They got there and they were offering support, but they were tear gassed, it was all over, and she was just showing that I am part of a struggle. And I can tell you, I think the language that Raila is saying that this is part of a struggle is what other people maybe are not understanding. That the audience, from that video, the public is already owning, the masses are already owning that mass action. They're already owning it, and they're turning up with every little gesture and any responsibility that you can take. Someone will say that mimi wakati nilimwagiwa tear gas, mimi nilimwaga maji. And that's not the typical Kenyan. I've always said that problems has never been Kenyans. The problem has never been the political class. So Kenyans are very peaceful and peace-loving people. For that lady, Kongole sana. It's always good to stand in for the brother or the sister. Ladies and gentlemen, I followed that video, and even by the time Raila Odinga team, in fact, they could not move there. I don't know, they had just to go to Karen. And when I looked at what happened there, I think that was out and about to erupt. If Raila was to come out, he had the way, there were rumors that he would head to the Jacaranda, which I probably think that was his way. I was in Jacaranda in the morning, and even as that was going on, I think there was a crowd that was piling around Jacaranda, but that crowd was dispersed by the police. The same time Raila was holding the rally in Radiomaisha. So if he was to get to Jacaranda, I don't know if that was wrong. Probably I don't understand. And if he was to do other things, which route was to take? Was either to get to Jacaranda or get to Kayole or connect different route? But to that, I don't know what was the threat. What is Raila's threat of getting to Outer Ring? It's a very interesting development that some of us maybe are now waiting to see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to be very objective in this analysis. If you've watched Radiomaisha, what do you think? If you've watched what happened there, I don't understand and why we would, and I think the strategy of Raila going to the masses has always because he believes that there is a crowd, and of course even security team that are handling must be sensitive of the fact that that is a crowd. Immediately Raila Odinga team left, the police left, and the protesters remained there. They're still protesting, and they were still chanting those songs and dancing. They're still dancing happily. I don't think even people are protesting like what on Sarika. They're doing it very peacefully and happily. But the target was very clear that they had to thwart Raila Odinga's mass action. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you see? I think the way it has gotten, there is a very clear message that is seen here. The state is committed and they will stop at nothing to make sure that the mass action is not done. As to whether they've turned it illegal, they've banned it, they've used different terms to describe it and to discredit it, but then that is what it is. And it seems they're committed that it won't happen. But the only scare is that the moment it will gather steam to be a debate between not about the cost of living, but about the state trying to suppress the right of the people, that's when I think we'll actually get it loose. Because there is no discussion that we're going to have. We are then supposed to have. And I don't know why Azimio, I think Azimio should also rush to court and get an interpretation of these bans by, there's a ban by IG, there is a ban by so and so. They should also go and seek that interpretation so that they win. And there was an attempt to thwart it. It happened. I don't think they will stop at nothing. I was looking at that crowd. That was a huge crowd of people at the slum, women, children, young people, disabled, and everyone. But the security officers did not look. They did not get tired. They decided, we're going to confront, we're going to do it. So it's a very challenging thing. Number two, I think Raila Odinga is exposed. In terms of security, even personal security, is a bit exposed. I know he left unhurt, but with that kind of stampede, with that kind of environment, it can even bring stampede. Probably it's about time to sit back and review on how it's going to be done, on how money will be. I am just very concerned that there is no indication that we want ceasefire. There is no indication that we want to tone down the emotions. I think the emotions are rising. We're already gathering. The population is gathering steam, but the state is very quiet, that they're not after making sure that things are very peaceful. It's a very sorry state of affairs, because I do believe that this is a situation that needed to be addressed earlier and in time, so that it does need to get to that level. With what is happening, it is clear that the Azimio leadership are now the target. I think it should be seen to them that themselves are now the target. And I don't know what needs to be done. But what happened in Mukuru Kwenjenga was excess. That was too much.